Am I the a-hole for not wanting to babysit my siblings' kids anymore? I, 23 female, used to be very close with my family. My siblings have children and I used to be a big part of their lives. I'm always taking good care of them. In my free time, I never do anything for myself. I spend it always with them because I love them. I always go above and beyond for them. Not to mention I spent lots of money on them. I'm the aunt that never said no to them. My siblings have more money than me, but all my money seems to go to their children. Now, this is not my siblings' fault. It's just what I choose to do. I love them like my own, and I never felt like I was being used by my siblings to be a free babysitter because I truly enjoyed it from my heart. I don't have friends of my own. I considered my siblings my friends. However, a year ago, I had a terrible injury and couldn't walk or use my hands for 6+ months. I went from being the girl that helped everyone out to being unable to help myself. I couldn't walk to the bathroom, kitchen, nowhere. For the first months of my injury, I lost 30 pounds and I was severely skinny. I lost all that weight due to being unable to cook for myself. There were times I needed help even using my spoon. I needed to be fed and no one helped me. There were times I literally cut my hair off because I no longer could take care of my long thick hair. There were times I couldn't take showers. It was the most depressing time of my life. I went from dealing with my injury to dealing with all kinds of problems due to not taking care of myself, not eating properly, etc. Fast forward, after months of suffering and struggling, I was able to slowly heal. And I was very mad at my family when I finally healed. I realized they used to call me every day before my injury because they could use me as a babysitter. But during my injury, they acted as if I didn't exist. There were no phone calls, no checking up on me to see if I needed anything, nothing. I did have high expectations from them because we were a very close family. I was there for them through anything, but I didn't receive the same love back. The other day, my sister called me to say her kids miss me and to babysit them. I said no. That's the first time I've ever said no. Why she's calling me now that I'm recovered when she didn't show up for me during the worst times of my life? She said it's because I never told them I needed help. Now, they knew exactly what I was going through. They knew I couldn't walk. They knew I couldn't use my hands. They saw me with their own eyes first day of my injury at a hospital, then completely disappeared on me. I feel I am only good enough when I'm helping them, but when I'm unable to do anything, I'm unwanted. I'm going to be all alone, but I decided to cut my siblings off of my life permanently. I will no longer be watching their kids for them. I've let them know this and have changed my number, and they think it's evil to do to your family. What do you guys think? Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Every relationship must be a two-way street. It sounds like your siblings only want you when they need something from you. I feel terrible just reading your post. You can still be a great aunt when you can and want to, but you don't have to say yes every time to be a great aunt. Not a-hole. I also felt terrible reading this. You do not have to babysit them or do them any favors, but try to maintain a relationship with your niece and nephew still. I would hate for you to sever the connection/love you have for the babies just because your siblings are selfish a-holes. It's hard to have a relationship with nieces/nephews when their parents are a-holes, unfortunately. They will take advantage of her as soon as they realize she cares about them. Absolutely. My sister that I have gone no contact with since last year gatekeeps my niece and nephew from the rest of the family. It's honestly devastating watching them grow up through pictures and social media. I hope Opie would be able to take them out on playdates without it being seen as an obligation to babysit. She picks the time, plays, and then drops them off right after. Not a-hole. The only evil people are the ones that up and disappeared when you needed them. Did they ever ask you, if you need anything, just let me know? Good on you, OP, for recognizing your worth. I'm truly sorry this happened to you. You know, in my experience, the people who really want to help you never tell you to call and ask. They just help you. Next story. Would I be the a-hole if I potentially turn away my pregnant little sister? I, 29 female, have a pretty dysfunctional family, but this issue is primarily with my mother and little sister, female 25. Now anyway, my mother showed up at my house and invited to sit me down and have a talk with me. She then informed me that my sister is 37 weeks pregnant and may need me. She then informed me that she has shown my sister where I live, because she conveniently lives 2 streets down. This was all new information. For context, my sister has been a thorn in my side my entire life. I have been blamed for every instance of her bad behavior. When I was 10, she stabbed me in the kneecap with a pencil for helping her with her homework because she wanted my mother to help her, not me. Then I got yelled at for not helping her. I was given a band-aid and grounded. When she was 12, she tried to square up with my grandmother who was 20 pounds lighter than she was, and when I got between them, my sister took off and ran away. My mother was not home and left her phone at home, so she was unbothered. When she got home and was informed, I was then slapped in the face for allowing her to leave, for causing a scene with the neighbors because I tried to carry her inside, and then promptly grounded for making her too scared to come home. She got expelled in the 8th grade for bullying a girl with crutches and caused her more injuries by taking them and pushing her. She never graduated high school. She was in juvie from the age of 16 to 18 for violence and truancy. Now she is 25, still actively doing heroin and is shacked up with some loser who is also using. My mother claims she wants her spawn, but she never stopped using no matter how much my mother paid for rehabs. I have 2 small children under the age of 7, and now I feel unsafe in my home because of this mess. I don't want her around. I don't want more of her mistakes to become a problem. And now I feel like I can't escape it. Would I be the a-hole if I didn't open the door if she comes knocking? P.S. I asked my mother what I should do if she shows up. She said I should do my sisterly duty, but she won't help. Time to cut your third bag mother out of your life too, for endangering your family with that junky loser of a sister. Let them wallow in their filth. If they show up, don't answer the door, and just immediately call the police. Lie to them, tell them they have drugs. If you can get her arrested, that will help the unborn baby because she can't use and they will feed her. Pregnant mothers cannot abruptly stop opioid use. It puts the baby at risk for seizures and death in the womb. 3 rehab centers would have tried to transition her to a maintenance long-acting opioid to be as safe as possible for her and the baby. Ongoing needle use puts them both at risk for infections such as hepatitis and HIV as well. Hopefully she has had prenatal care. Social service involvement is a must for this baby. If the situation is as high risk as described, sister and father of baby are not likely to retain custody without showing great progress. My guess is, OP will be asked to be a safety plan or guardian. This is the question she needs to prepare for and think through. She has had 0 prenatal care. She refused admittance to rehab centers, only went for the shots and then turned down the actual admission part. Time to be a mother bear and protect your cubs at all costs. You already know that she's going to lie, cheat, steal, make a mess, act like you owe her food and shelter, make you do all the chores, then after a few months, she will abandon her kid on you. Stop it before it starts. Get security cameras and call the police if she shows up. If she gets put in jail for being in heroin, you may save the baby's life. Agreed. Your mom was wrong to tell her where you live. She's an addict and could bring her dealer over there in an attempt to get money. I would make sure all the locks work and get a surveillance camera. I wouldn't answer the door nor let her in, not even to use the bathroom. Especially this. Most people dose IV in the bathroom, and with fentanyl and carfentanil ending up in everything and OP having kids, sister could easily OD and CPS will be investigating OP. And that is a whole ordeal. Absolutely not. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my brother and best friend idiots for hiding their relationship from my parents for 6 years? My brother mid-20s and I'm mid-20s are Indian. When I was a freshman in high school, I met a white girl named Haley, mid-20s, who quickly became one of my best friends. From the start, it was clear that my brother and Haley were attracted to each other. A bit after high school, Haley and my brother became official. To Haley and my brother's credit, they always made sure this was okay with me, and Haley took pains to make sure that she wasn't overlooking me. About 2 years into their official relationship, I made what in retrospect might have been a mistake. I told my brother he should tell our parents about Haley. My parents already knew Haley as my best friend, and my mom especially really liked her. I told my brother that our parents were more liberal compared to people in their generation from a similar cultural background, and he had less reason to hide his relationship compared to some other Indians. For instance, both of them welcomed my cousin after my dad's brother disowned cousin for being gay. Well, now they're deciding to get married. Obviously, they told my parents. I knew that this was going to be a crap show, so the day they told my parents that they're home, I made an excuse and said I couldn't come because of work. Predictably, they were upset. But as my dad later told me, they weren't upset because Haley is white. They're upset that they hid their relationship from them for so long. Well, I met my brother and Haley today. Haley asked me what did they say, and I called them idiots for lying about such a thing. And I told them they were upset. In response, my brother called me an a-hole for calling them idiots, and that I don't understand the pressures an interracial couple faces. Soft Yorty a-hole. You're right that they probably didn't go about this the right way, but you didn't need to insult Haley when she asked for an explanation. Instead, you could say, you know, I'm 100% supportive of your relationship. My parents are too. They are very happy that you found each other. But they are hurt that the two of you lied to them for 6 years and didn't trust them, despite having given you no indication that they would be anything but supportive. Really depends on how he called them idiots though. Like if you're laughing saying, you guys are idiots. That's definitely not a-hole territory in my opinion. Info. Is idiots a common phrase used between all of you? My friends and I frequently refer to each other and ourselves as idiots, so I'm pretty desensitized to the word. Some people really get offended by it, because their friend group never teased each other much as they grew up. Yeah, that's fair. I'm in a group chat that intersects two social circles, and those of us who use idiots only direct it at each other because that's what we were used to. And someone from one of the overlapping circles once flat out said, wow, you guys are really mean to each other. So I can see both sides of the argument in this thread. Calling me an idiot would likely just garner a no you reply in jest. But it seems like a significant number of people in this thread fall in the you guys are really mean camp. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my wife go on vacation? So I, 35 male, and my wife, 34 female, have a 16-month-old child. For background, she makes twice as much as I do. For now, my boss told me he'll be almost doubling my salary 2 years from now. She generally works overnights and weekends, healthcare, and I work a 9 to 5. We essentially take turns taking care of the child while the other one is at work. I often leave work early or come in late to help accommodate her work and pumping schedule. She has been breastfeeding and pumping since our child was born. Recently, her supply has dropped to the point where she's not pumping anymore but will still nurse the baby. This essentially eliminates hours of work from our day. Hers from pumping, mine from cleaning the bottles and pumps every night. We did it. She did it. We made it. It's great. Yesterday, she told me that she wants to reward herself by going on an international vacation for a week with just her and her friend this summer. Her arguments are that she deserves it, she's never been out of the country, and it's something she's always wanted to do, and wants to do it before it's too late. I agree that she deserves it, but I think it's ridiculous that she thinks it's an acceptable thing to go to the other side of the world without her family for an entire week, while our baby is still about 1.5 years old. I told her that it's one thing if she wanted to take a trip somewhere in the States, but to go to either Southeast Asia or Europe is entirely too big of an ask. For me, is the fact that our baby still needs her. This forces me to take a week off work, and the fact that she thinks it's appropriate whatsoever to do something like this. She's offered to fly her mom in for a week to help with the childcare, which would help on my end, but doesn't solve the issue. She says she doesn't feel like she should have to wait to save up enough to pay for both of us. I'm hurt she wants to go alone, but understand she wants to reward herself. But I just think she's swinging for the fences at an inappropriate time. What happens if our baby gets sick? What if there's literally any kind of emergency? I told her if roles were reversed, she would absolutely not approve of me leaving for an entire week to go on a vacation by herself. Am I the a-hole for saying she shouldn't go on vacation? A couple weeks ago, you posted about how you just don't know how to help your wife decompress. She has a hard time being willing to spend money, even if you can't afford it and doesn't have ideas about what would help. Now, she has a concrete idea of what would help her burnout. You proceed to flip out. She has solutions for any of the issues you bring up. But it's still just wildly unacceptable to you for her to even think of taking time just for herself. Your objections don't make any sense. If the problem is your baby needs her, why would it matter whether she's in the States or in Europe? If the problem is her being reachable, you know they have phones and internet overseas, right? You're the a-hole so much. Please go apologize to your wife right now and start helping her plan this trip. And while you are at it, plan your own solo trip for after she's back. Before proposing his own trip, I think the OP should be ruthlessly honest about whether he has truly carried his own weight in terms of paid employment, plus childcare, plus domestic work. If his wife is coming off of a year plus of doing it as proportionate share, asking her to assume additional responsibility for a week would not be reasonable. You're the a-hole. You really don't know by now what to do if your kid gets sick? Come on, weaponized incompetence. You'll be fine for a week. Get family or friends to help you. Homegirl needs a break. Weaponized incompetence and some insecurity about his masculinity if I had to guess. The line about her making twice as much, but that in 2 years he might be making more, is a little desperate sounding. Very much I will put my weight one day, but in the meantime we should act as though I already do, sort of mentality. Yes, when I read in 2 years I'll basically be making the same amount of money, it screamed insecurity. My husband was ecstatic when I made over double what he did. It should have been this dude's idea from the jump to have his wife go on vacation after working her butt off for this manzanito.